I never thought a single moment, just a few seconds, could stay with me for the rest of my life. It wasn't planned, it wasn't romantic, and it definitely wasn't something I ever imagined I'd do. But that day, something shifted inside me. It started like any ordinary afternoon. The kind of day you don't remember, the kind that blends into all the others. I was busy, distracted, scrolling through my phone, thinking about deadlines, responsibilities, the usual noise of life. And then I saw him. He was sitting alone on a worn out bench. An old man, fragile, quiet, almost invisible to everyone passing by. People walked past him like he didn't exist. No one stopped. No one looked twice. But something about him made me pause. Maybe it was the way he held his hands together, like he was holding onto something that wasn't there anymore. Maybe it was the emptiness in his eyes, the kind that doesn't come from a bad day, but from years of silence. Or maybe it was loneliness. The kind we all fear, but rarely talk about. I don't know why, but I couldn't just walk away. So I sat down next to him. At first, there was silence. Awkward, heavy, uncomfortable. I didn't know what to say, and maybe he didn't expect me to say anything at all. But after a few seconds, he spoke. Do you believe people forget you before you're even gone? I froze. That's not the kind of question you expect from a stranger. I looked at him. Really looked this time. His face carried stories. Wrinkles that weren't just signs of age, but of love, loss, waiting, and being forgotten. I didn't have an answer. So I asked him something simple. Are you waiting for someone? He smiled, but it wasn't a happy smile. It was the kind that hides pain. I've been waiting for yours, he said. And just like that, the conversation began. He told me about his life, about how he once had a family, a home full of laughter, a wife who used to greet him at the door every evening, children who ran into his arms without thinking twice. He told me about love, real love. The kind that grows over time, not fades. But then his voice changed. Softer, slower. They're all gone now, he said. Not in the way you might think. They didn't disappear overnight. They just drifted away. Life happened. Busy schedules, new priorities, distance, silence. And eventually, he became a memory in their lives, while they were still everything in his. I didn't know what to say, because the truth is, that happens more often than we admit. People don't always leave with a goodbye. Sometimes they just stop showing up. And that's what hurts the most. We kept talking. Minutes turned into what felt like hours. And for the first time in a long time, someone was listening to him. Not out of obligation, not out of pity, but because they chose to. At one point, he looked at me and said something I'll never forget. Do you know what I miss the most? I shook my head. He paused and then said, being touched. That hit me harder than anything else he had said. Not money, not success, not even family, just a human touch, a handshake, a hug, a simple connection, something we take for granted every single day. But for him, it had become a distant memory. I felt something shift inside me, a mix of sadness, guilt, and something deeper I couldn't explain. Before I knew it, I reached out and held his hand. It was cold, fragile, but in that moment, it felt like the most important thing in the world. He didn't pull away. Instead, he held on tighter, like he was afraid the moment would disappear. And maybe It almost did, because then something happened. Something I didn't plan. Something I didn't think about. I leaned in and kissed him on the cheek. It wasn't romantic. It wasn't strange. It was a human. Simple, pure, real. For a second, everything stopped. Time, noise, thoughts. Just that moment. When I pulled back, I saw tears in his eyes. Not loud, not dramatic. Just quiet tears. The kind that say more than words ever could. And then he said something that broke me. I forgot what that felt like. I didn't know how to respond, because how do you respond to that? How do you process the idea that someone has gone so long without feeling something so basic, so essential? We sat there in silence again, but this time it wasn't awkward. It was peaceful, like to strangers who weren't strangers anymore. Eventually, I had to leave. Life was calling me back. Responsibilities, time, reality. But before I stood up, he looked at me one last time. And he smiled. A real smile this time. Thank you, he said. Not for the conversation. Not for the time, but for reminding him that he still mattered. I walked away, but something inside me stayed with him. That day changed me, not in a dramatic, overnight transformation kind of way, but in a quiet, lasting way. I started noticing things I had ignored before. The old man sitting alone at a cafe. The elderly woman waiting for someone who never shows up. The silent loneliness hiding behind familiar faces. And I realized something uncomfortable. We are all so busy chasing connection that we forget to give it. We scroll, we text, we post, but real connection, it's disappearing. And the people who feel it the most are often the ones who need it the most. That day taught me something I wish more people understood. Connection doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes it's just sitting next to someone. Listening. Holding their hand. Or yes, even a simple kiss on the cheek. Not because it's expected, but because it's needed. We spend so much time waiting for big moments, but life, it's made of small ones. And sometimes the smallest moment can mean everything to someone else. I never saw him again. I don't know his name. I don't know where he came from or where he went. But I know this for a brief moment. We gave each other something real. And in a world that's becoming more disconnected by the day, that matters more than we think. So here's something I want you to think about. When was the last time you made someone feel seen, not liked, not followed? Seeing. Because one day we might all find ourselves sitting on that bench, waiting. Hoping. Wondering if anyone will stop. And when that moment comes, I hope someone does. If this story made you feel something, don't ignore it. Reach out to someone today. Call them, visit them, sit with them, because one small moment of connection could become the moment they never forget. And maybe it'll change you too.